video talks through one example. So here is the whole question. Okay, so we've got three different things to do. So let f of x equal 5 over x take 2x plus x squared. So we want to show that the equation f of x equals 0 has a solution between -1 and -2. So this is saying it kind of crosses the x-axis between -1 and -2. So I'm going to, first of all, so that I know kind of what it looks like, and I want to use my graphical calculator. So I've already typed it in. Click draw. So I can see, I can move it down, and I can see that there is a solution between -1 and -2. Okay, so show that the equation has a solution between -1 and -2. So we're going to sub in -1, okay, which is 5 over -1, take 2 times -1 plus -1 squared. 5 over -1 is -5, -2 times -1 is +2, and -1 squared is 1, so +1. So -5 plus 2 plus 1 is -2, which is less than 0. Okay, so that means our y value is -0, so it will be below, at -2, it's below our, -1, sorry, at -1, I'm going to draw that graph again. At -1, it's down here at -2. Okay, so now we're going to sub in -2. So we've got 5 over -2, take away 2 lots of -2, plus -2 all squared. So 5 over -2 is just -2.5. -2 times -2 is +4. -2 squared is +4. So -2.5 plus 4 is 5.5, which is greater than 0. So that means at -2, it's 5.5, which is up here. So there must be a root in between them. It must cross the x-axis in between them. Okay, so we know there's a root. So we're just going to write a little statement. So there is a change of sign. So that means that it's one's positive and one's negative. So there is a root between -1 and -2. Okay, that was part A. So we've shown that the equation has a solution between -1 and -2. So now we want to evaluate f of -0.5 and f of 0.5. So part B, I, so f of -0.5, so that gives us 5 over -0.5, take away 2 lots of -0.5, plus 0.5 all squared. You can use a calculator. So when you put that in, we get -8.75. Okay, and then f of 0.5, we've got 5 over 0.5, take away 2 lots of 0.5, plus 0.5, oh that should be a negative, plus 0.5 squared, and when we work that out we get 9.25. Okay, so they've asked you to evaluate it at -0.5 and 0.5. Okay, and we can see that there's been a change of sign again. We can see that this is negative and this is positive. Okay, so there has been a change of sign. But with part 2, it says explain why in this case the change of sign does not imply that there is another solution between -0.5 and 0.5. So if we have a look, our f of x, so this is part 2, our f of x is 5 over x take 2x plus x squared. Okay, so we think there's a solution between -0.5 and 0.5. So if you look at your graph on your calculator, you can see that between -0.5 and 0.5 there isn't a solution there. There isn't another solution. Okay, so we kind of obviously want to question this. But then think about the 5 over x. So think about the 5 over x, okay? What do we know about this? Where are the asymptotes, okay? So we know that x can't be 0, so we know that that graph has a vertical asymptote, so f of x has a vertical asymptote at x equals 0. So the change of sign does not imply that the graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, so what we're looking at is our graph will never touch the y-axis, because if it did, then our x would be 0, okay, and obviously 5 over 0, well, we know that that's not going to happen. It's not going to touch our y-axis. So that's why this change of sign doesn't imply that there is a root, it implies there's an asymptote. So when you're working through the My Maths lesson, just think about that it does have problems. Doesn't mean that every time there's a sign change there's a root, okay?